Against Red, it is one of football's great rivalries. It is Manchester City against Manchester United.
Manchester derby is one of the biggest rivalries in English football.
A contest steeped in football folklore. Now the women's game can start writing its own chapters.
Caroline Weir scored a banger.
The first ever in FA WSL. A stunning save from Roebuck.
Loose inside the penalty. Yeah, finished forward.
That's how it feels to score in the derby.
Back it comes to Burns, lashes it in 2-0 Manchester City.
Making sure that Manchester stays blue.
Oh, it's got to go in. It's Lauren Hand.
Winning a derby always means a lot.
Troy Shaw! But Shaw's there. Of course she's there. Manchester City are doing what Manchester City do.
Blue against red, families divided, a city disunited. There is nothing quite like a Manchester derby.
Welcome to the Etihad. It is the big one today, the Manchester derby. And first off the bus is our manager. Give it up for Gareth Taylor, everyone. We need you to get behind the team today. It could be a close one of the tightest Manchester derbies we could have seen in years. It's going to be a big one. The team need your support. Get behind them. Who will be first off the bus from our players? The manager already quickly into the dressing room, preparing himself for the important team talks which will be taking place pre-match and at half-time today. Lots coming up throughout the day. First off the bus, give it up for Esme Morgan, everyone. Our through and through blue, our number 14, ready for today. Laura Coombs, everyone. Yui Hasagawa. She's back from injury. It is our very own Lauren Hemp. Mary Fowler, our league top scorer. Khadija Bunny Shaw. Kiara Keating, Ruby Mace. Philippa Rangadal, she scored in midweek. Will she find the back of the net again today? Julie Blackstad, Kirsten Kasperai, Alana Kennedy. It's our number 1 Ellie Roebuck. Our Lionesses hero, Chloe Kelly. Sandy McIver, Alex Greenwood. Hayley Rasso, give it up for our captain, Steph Horton. Welcome Demi Stokes, Leia Alexandri, Leia Wuhabi, Dana Castellanos, Vicky Losada.
Good afternoon and welcome along to Matchday Live. What an absolute treat it is to be with you for this very special and history in the making day here at the Etihad Stadium as we are welcoming over 43,000 fans to our women's game. It is the Manchester derby. Manchester City host Manchester United, and here to tuck into all of that, well, you can see to my left what a lineup I have alongside me, Miss Karen Bardsley and Mr Nedum Onuoha. What an absolute pleasure. Karen, how big of today is it for not just kind of Manchester City but the women's game in general?
Yeah, I mean, the Manchester derby is so fun, you know, and I'm so glad that we finally have, like, this epic event to look forward to in the women's game. You know, for so long it was City and Chelsea or City and Arsenal, but to have, like, a home derby is something, like, you know, in the men's game was just so fun to always look forward to, and now, yeah, to be a part of it. Although the other side of the glass, you know, it's still going to be equally as exciting, you know, like, the form these teams are in at the minute is just, they're, like, I don't know, it's just going to be really exciting because, you know, United are up there. They've beaten the likes of Arsenal, obviously kind of fell to Chelsea at one point, but, you know, they're fighting for second at the moment. And now it's kind of the Champions League spots up for grabs, obviously the league. And, you know, City are on a winning streak, and it's just really exciting. There's going to be good football from both sides today. Yeah, it seems to really fall at the perfect time. And as you say, these 3 points are going to be crucial in this league this year, of course, for that Champions League spot. And I think 3 points will close that gap on Manchester United. Let's take a look at our team news then. Of course, we saw him arriving there as well. This is chosen by Gareth Taylor, and it looks like this. Of course, we have Ellie Roebuck in net. Then we have Kasperai, Alexandri, Greenwood, and Wuhabi. Then we have Asigawa, Castellanos, Coombs, Kelly,
our top scorer in Shaw and Lauren Hemp. As we look to the bench as well, gosh, there's some great depth there with McIver, Stokes, Steph Houghton, Fowler, Angel Dahl, Rasso, Morgan, Kennedy and Blackstad. Nedum, there's some big names in that starting 11, all of which could probably make a massive difference today. Any ones that stand out to you off the back?
Well, it's the top scorer in the whole division, isn't it? It's Khadija Shaw. You know, I want to see her play in person. You know, I've seen her a few times on TV, and she's done very, very well this season. So I think it get a chance to actually see her from like the bigger picture, to be able to see the full 22. I'm excited for that, but. You know, City's such a good side, and I think as I look at the bench as well, they've got that real depth there.
Yes.
So there's some names on the bench. I hold my hands up. I'm surprised to not see them starting. I think Karen will probably be able to explain that a bit more, but this is a really good City side. They do have the depth, and is it 8 wins in a row they're on?
It's indeed, yeah. I think
that's not too bad.
I think, what is it? This could be the 11th in all competitions, so it's a really exciting place to be at the minute.
How much credit do we have to give Gareth Taylor that? Because obviously, as we know, there was a lot of changes in the summer. You know, we kind of some great names. Caroline Weir, for instance, as well, moving over to Madrid, bringing in a host of new signings. How well has he done in obviously steadying the ship, but then going on this brilliant run?
Yeah, you know, he's not had an easy go of it. Obviously, with the transfers over the summer, to your point, we've lost a lot of really talented and well-recognised players. So I think steadying the ship, to your point, bringing in the likes of Hasegawa has been huge. We got off to a bit of a bumpy start the first couple of games of the season, but you know, getting that first win, I think it was against Leicester, you know, and kind of growing that confidence, giving people time to get familiar with the methodology. You know, we've got so many new players that are slotting in with the likes of Kashbrai, Alexandri, Ohabi. I mean, look at that starting 11. It's just almost unrecognisable to last season.
Yes.
You know, so people just need that time to kind of get comfortable with their teammates, but also the way Gareth's asking them to play. And what I've seen is, you know, he's starting to move away from the real slow possession-orientated football that we saw kind of at the beginning of the season and maybe towards the end of last season, which was effective at points. However, you kind of miss the opportunities to really be, you know, decisive in your passing or direct at times, you kind of on the counter in the transition. So you're starting to see that kind of creep back into the game, which is something you're used to seeing from City a lot more. So yeah, I don't know, it's a great squad of really, really talented people have won at different organizations, you know, like the likes of Barcelona, you know, and so. But yeah, you look at the bench and you think anyone can come on there and make an instant impact. You know, you've seen Rasso just come on and absolutely fly down the wings. You know, Angeldal's a really technically gifted player that can dominate in the midfield. The likes of Mary Fowler up top, thinking that youth, you know, and the enthusiasm. 19-year-old Australian, you know, it's okay, cool. And then you've got the stability of Stokes, Horton, you know, and you know even. Julia Blackstad, you know, got some games midweek as well.
Yeah, and he's in a good bit of form as well. I mean, Nedum, looking, as you kind of said there, Karen, it is almost an unrecognisable starting 11 in names. It is surprising for them to have settled in so quickly and found the form, because as you know, we see some players and groups when they come in can take a full season, can't they?
Yeah, I think it certainly can, but I think if this team is anything like the men's team as well, they have a very solid core and they have the sort of, what's the word? Not necessarily character. What word am I looking for? Within a place. Sorry, I'm usually quite good with words.
You are.
As you can see, I've been on holiday. No, culture. Culture. Yeah, you know what I mean? When you have a good footballing culture, people can come in and want to be a part of it instead of having to come in and basically create their own. So I think that can make a big difference. That's why you see some players, it might take a little while to sort of fit in, but they still understand what they're trying to achieve. And I think with this City side and City in general, you know what they're about. They recruit you for a reason. It's not just because, say, you're good at diagonals or you're good at doing step overs. You're very good on the field, but you're going to fit into what the club are trying to do, what they're trying to achieve. So for me, yeah, I'm not really surprised in some ways because they're still very, very good players. They're still a very good team. They've obviously lost some, you know, very significant talent across the last year or so. But the ambition is still the same.
Yes.
You know, they're trying to build and to be back to where they were, and maybe back to where they were and become better.
Yes.
It might take a while. But for the players, they have the belief that they can do it, and with some of the core that they have, why wouldn't they think that?
Absolutely, and as well, you know, looking at the signings as well, they're all quite young signings as well, so there is so much growth to, I think, happen over the next few seasons, which is really exciting. Mixed in with that, though, you've got names like Alex Greenwood as well, of course, who I think will probably be captaining the side. How key has she been, particularly this season for City, of course, because, you know, Steph Houghton has been such an incredible player, and also, I think, you know, leader for the club. This season, we're seeing kind of Greenwood step into that fold. She's been great.
Yeah, she has. I mean, her technical ability and her passing range is second to none, really. You know, so depending on what Gareth's asking her to do in that day, you know, whether it's, you know, breaking lines with her passes, you know, in terms of if the 9's going to drop in or she's looking for the 10 or the 8, like she's got the skill set to do that. But she's also, you know, really well experienced. She's been through the Euros. She's been, you know, I think we played together in 2015 at the World Cup in Canada.
Wow.
So, like, she's got a breadth of experience and knowledge, and you know, she's familiar with these different situations. She's got a good relationship with the girls as well. Like, she gets around the players and is kind of a leader in that sense as well. So yeah, I think she's going to be pivotal in a game where, you know, like this, where the emotions can run high, and she'll recognize the moments where she maybe needs to slow it down and, you know, take the reins off or speed up the tempo. So that's going to be really important.
Since you retired, has there been a game which you wished you were a part of, or have you been able to push it to the side?
Hello, Nedum. What a question.
Who's presenter
I know, isn't it? You swap seats?
You stay over there.
Gosh, you know what? Like, sure, there's moments where I think, oh, this would be a fun one to be a part of, and unfortunately for me with the injury, like, I never got a chance to actually be a part of a derby like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a day like, you know, playing here or playing at Old Trafford one day, like that derby and that emotion, I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think the biggest one, to be honest, is over the Euros. That first game, you know, just walking out with the fanfare and all the fans and the support, and you just think, oh, this is amazing.
Proper spine tingling.
But I'm not being funny. As soon as the whistle went, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, nah, it's fine. You do it.
It's funny she says that, you know, because for me, the thing which I missed the most was that the sort of the walk out into the stadium. Because, you know, in theory, there are lots of fields just like this all around the world, and you could have 22 people play upon it.
Yeah.
But when you're walking out and you know all those people are there to witness this game, and you feel the sense of a big game, you feel the sort of the excitement, the nervousness, the tension in the crowd. It's like, yeah, this is for us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is why they're here. And in fairness, I've just been at the World Cup, and one of my friends, Junior Hoyle, plays for Canada. And when I saw him the day after he played, I said to him, because I had this epiphany. That was the most. I always have epiphanies. I'm always thinking.
Little light bulb.
But as far as like world football goes, the game he played in was the most important game in the world at that particular time.
Yes.
And that's my friend playing in that game.
Yeah.
And that, I thought that's incredible. Like, because say yesterday, 3 o'clock kickoffs all around the football league, all around the world. You decide whichever one's most important. But in that game, it was Belgium against like Canada. And that was the game at the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, this is good, you know. And yeah, and I think you get a sense for that sometimes. Say, like Karen mentioned, around the Euros, and say even today, like, this is the Manchester derby in the WSL.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is one of the most important games in the world, period, regardless of sex or league or whatever. So this is it's a nice feeling.
It really is, and it's such a special moment, I think, as well. The fact we have sold over 43,000. I think that's a record here at the Etihad, and I think there might even be a few more. But Alistair Mann, who's on commentary day on the City app, I'm sure he'll be able to give us the specific figures because Ali knows everything. Laura Coombs. Now she's been involved in the last 8 games, 5 goal involvements. I think it's 3 goals, 2 assists. So that's matching a record she's had all season. What is it that's like she's done this season that's just elevated her game?
Well, she's been one of those players that's kind of brought the same thing throughout since she's been here, but, you know, it's almost been a matter of opportunity for her. You know, so she's been really consistent. What a strike.
Wow.
And, you know, the way she goes about her preparation, she's very, you know, thorough in the questions that she asks and the understanding. And she's become, you know, even more so a student of the game. But for, you know, in years previous, there were players in front of her that, you know, maybe she didn't get the opportunities to show, you know, just how good she was. But what I love about her is like the diligence, you know, and the resilience to kind of just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, constantly look at the opportunities to improve. And then when you get your chance, take it, you know, and she's scored some crucial goals for us, you know. She picks out great passes. She's got the vision, the enthusiasm to get forward, but she also can put herself in a situation where she does a job for the team and what the team needs in that moment. So, yeah, she's been incredibly like reliable for us, you know, this season. But I don't know, she's just a great girl as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really nice to see her get the accolades that she deserves.
Absolutely, and Gareth Taylor was speaking so highly about her as well when he was on the show just before we kind of went away for the World Cup. Well, speaking of Laura, we can actually hear what she had to say and giving us some thoughts ahead of the game against Manchester United taking place at 12:30.
So, Laura, at the Etihad, you've obviously been here before, a few years ago, but how excited are you ahead of this weekend's clash against United?
Can't wait. I think it's going to be a great day, massive crowds. really hope that we can put on a performance and make everyone proud of us, and yeah, just enjoy the occasion. It's going to be a great day.
Does it feel slightly different to how it felt back in 2019? You're obviously quite new to the club at the time, but the atmosphere around the team and the build-up to the game, are there any differences you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, last time United, correct me if I'm wrong, they'd just been promoted, so it was kind of like we were really expected to win this game, and now more the pressure is just on ourselves because we really want to win this game, and if anything, they're above us in the table, so it's very different going into this game.
And around 43,000 tickets have been snapped up already. Playing in that sort of atmosphere, you're obviously very experienced, you've done it before, but how does that atmosphere affect a player out on the pitch, and how do you sort of change your game to adapt to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very loud. We're used to being able to hear everything each other can say on the pitch, and that's going to change on Sunday. So we're going to have our communication pinned down. And yeah, also just having people shout, I don't know, it can affect your concentration, but most of us now have played in big games and international. Hopefully everyone will be used to used to what comes.
But it's obviously a positive at the same time. It just shows that constant development and interest growing in the women's game, which as a player it must be so brilliant knowing that that's the sort of level of interest and support that you're receiving at the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing. The fact that 43,000 people want to come and watch us play, it's amazing. I'm so proud of us that we can attract that kind of a crowd. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's what we all grow up wanting to have and to play in front of.
9 wins in a row in all competitions ahead of this one against United. The mood in the camp must be one of excitement, a lot of confidence. How are you all feeling ahead of it?
We're feeling pretty confident. We feel like we're on a good streak, a good roll now. Every game, no matter who plays, the team is putting on great performances. We're scoring a lot of goals, which is great, from loads of different areas of the pitch. We're really confident, and I think this game's come at the best possible time for us.
Would number 10 top off the lot, United at the Etihad, back up there in the league? Would this one be number 1?
It would certainly be up there, yeah. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We desperately want the 3 points.
Thanks for your time, Laura, and good luck Sunday.
Thank you very much.
So great there. Thank you very much, Ms. Coombs. Nedum, you mentioned it before, but I think we have to spend a bit more time speaking about someone. It's almost like there's someone that's emulating what's happening in the men's team, having the top scorer of the WSL. How impressed have you been with Shaw, and what is it that you like about her game? What does she bring to this City team, and what could she do today against United?
So for the goals that I've seen her score, you know, there've been some headers, there've been some like long distance finishes, but there was one in particular, I think it was against Spurs, where she did a back press, nicked the ball off somebody, then got played in. She was at the edge of the box and just slammed it into the bottom corner like it was the easiest thing in the world. And that, to me, like when people make things look easy, I think to sort of reference it, the game is very, very competitive. Oh, look at this. As if by magic.
As if by magic.
As if by magic. Oh, hang on. I'll have a bit of that. Thank you. Just give me that there. I'll take a touch and I'll just pop it into the corner. Like, that's really good. That's really good football from the defensive standpoint and the attacking standpoint. You know, most people that shoot from that distance, they need to have the confidence as well. But it's, as I say, she's top scorer in the division. She looks very confident to me. People know she's a big threat. And I suppose some of that comes with playing week in, week out. You know, that goes such a long way because then you can actually achieve your potential. You can have a bad moment, but when you know you're still probably going to be playing the next, you know, you can sort of overcome it that little bit more. Yeah. So I've really enjoyed watching her. And, you know, it is a nice thing when you sit around and say, yeah, City's got the 2 top scorers in both things. Yeah.
Across all football, isn't it?
Exactly.
I do think that's the biggest difference that we probably saw in Bunny now than we did last season as well, because obviously she was sharing time with Ellen White, and, you know, it seems like she's really been able to make the position her own, you know, and she looks really comfortable, really confident, and she looks like she's really enjoying her football as well.
Yes.
You know, but the versatility now, that back press, we didn't see that in her game really that consistently in the previous season. So now to see that, it is clear that she's become like a better, again, student of the methodology, and she understands like what that 9 should be doing in Gareth Taylor's way of playing. And again, it's to one of Nedum's earlier points around understanding the talent that you're bringing in and what they're naturally good at, and trying to just bring that out of them more instead of essentially forcing like a square hole into a round peg.
Yes.
You know? So I've been really impressed with her, her physicality, the ability to get across, you know, the near post and just kind of get her head on things. She's shown a lot of bravery and you know the commitment to getting around the box, and I think it's been great to see.
Picking up on that point you were saying about, you know, square pegging in round holes, I think Gareth Taylor spoke about that, particularly when it comes to our wingers as well, you know, looking at kind of, you know, with Chloe Kelly, of course, but then you've got Blackstad on the bench as well, and talking about that he's happy now that there seems to be a few variety of ways of playing depending on the personnel on the pitch if they need to change it slightly.
Yeah, exactly, and that versatility makes you really dangerous to the opposition. You know, they're not really sure maybe how you're going to line up or who's going to play and what that's going to look like, you know, until obviously the starting 11 come out. And to have, you know, the likes of like a Hayley Rasso on the bench, or, you know, a Julie Blackstad who, you know, can play on the wing, can play fullback. You know, she's got a more physical component about the way she plays, but she's still happy to get forward and get around.
Yes.
You know, and then you've got Chloe Kelly, who's delivering these great balls from the flanks, and then you've got the likes of, you know, Hempo, who's, you know, she just goes like the clappers. So you just, and honestly, she's just an absolute machine down that wing. So to have her back adds like a whole nother level. But yeah, you've got some, you know, really great points around, you know, squeezing. Say you could stick in Engdahl for Uabi or Castellanos, and it would just be a completely different. Not game, but a variation of it.
Yes, yeah. That kind of slight twist on it almost. We're going to look at the United team news in just a second. You can probably see behind us, we're giving you live shots as well. Our women's team are warming up on the pitch, and the Etihad Stadium is filling slowly but surely. Before we get to that United team news, Karen, what is going to be kind of City's approach today to try and win the game, and are there any key battles on the pitch that you think might, you know, decide the game?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be an interesting one in terms of how City choose to press. You know, we saw that Chelsea obviously got some success with a high aggressive press against United earlier in the season, and I think if we execute our press, we typically press high and effectively. So it's about just trying to make the pitch as small as possible and trying to probably force you know, the play into specific areas based on who's on the pitch. So, I mean, with the likes of the way that Toon and Zellum have been playing, you know, they've been scoring loads of goals, so it's probably best to kind of keep it wide. But then with the likes of Leah Galton, you know, Letitia, who's happy to put their head on a ball. And so I think they're going to be really evenly matched all over the pitch. And we all know what Alessia Russo is capable of doing. It's going to be great little matchups all over the pitch. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
So for the audience then, so what do you mean when you say make the pitch as small as possible?
Well, I mean, so you set the press depending on what Gareth wants. So if you're going to set with the 8, or sorry, press with the 8, you know, or are you going to go with the wingers? You know, what is that going to look like? How is, you know, the 9 going to keep, you know, when you're building out the back, the play down one side or, you know, into a particular player, so you know when to kind of jump and squeeze up the pitch and make those lines as compact as possible. So what you'll probably see is, you know, if you've got Bunny Shaw like pressing from the 9, she's probably going to force it out to you know, maybe Blundell's side and just kind of try to squeeze and make the press as predictable as possible into the midfielder down the line. So that's what I imagine we'll probably see. Just kind of make them uncomfortable, like take the game to them and have that physical battle like early on.
So, and again, it's funny, isn't it, when the similarities again between, you know, the men's and the women's team, that style of playing, but that comes from being able to do that rigorous coaching and rigorous drill training, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, I think the coaches do obviously make a big difference, but I think for the players as well, it's their level of understanding about why they're doing it. I think once the players know the why, they'll take the coaches' sort of ideas on board, but then also do it in real time.
Yes.
Because when you're eventually out there, it's you versus the opposition, not you with the coach in your ear telling you where to stand. So I think there's obviously credit to teach them how to do it, but then once they know how to do it, you know, they can put their own sort of take on it as well. I think that's the key thing, because unfortunately you can't bring your coach out there with you. And I think it makes a big difference. I think as she was just alluding to there, like making the pitch smaller. If I've got the ball at the back and somebody presses me straight on, I can go right, I can go left. But if somebody comes from one side, before you know it, all I can see is something which is now a smaller picture of the whole field itself. You know what I mean? And it's not just the person coming from this side, it's the other people who are now going to try and force me this side as well. So there's an element of team and understanding. Like the coach might tell you this is what you need to do, but I still need to understand when to do it and how to do it right.
I mean, the perfect example of that was the men against Brighton. You know, like they pressed really, really well. They were tight and they made passing lanes look like they weren't there, you know. So City had to take more touches, had to slow the tempo down. They tried to probe a little bit, but it wasn't really effective. So you had to see them resort to a route one, you know, something you don't necessarily see very often. But this is the thing that the players have that recognition and they understand how to solve the problems without being reliant on a manager going, do this.
Yes,
That's the thing. If you see players all the time shouting to the sideline saying, "What should I do?" Just know that they're not.
There's a problem.
Yeah. You got it.
Help!
Where should I be?
Get me off.
I'm thankful for City all across the board, from men's teams, women's teams, academy teams. You don't see that a lot. They give them an idea, but the players go out there and they're trusted to go out and be able to execute.
That's that in-game intelligence.
I have to say, this is probably slightly off tangent a little bit, but on that point, you've seen the likes of Phil Foden and everyone come through the academy. Like, I remember, I think we were getting ready to go out on the pitch and do some training, and it was like a Saturday prepping for a game, and there was like a City under 8s or under 9s, and they were being asked questions like, if this happens, then what do you do? And they're like, and they had all the answers. You know what I mean? So there's just like recognition of what to do in certain situations at a really, really young age. Really cool.
And then from there, obviously, it's only going to grow, and it becomes like second nature then almost, which ties as well when you see young lads from the academy seamlessly fitting into the team, isn't it? It's brilliant to see. I need to go and watch some more of them. If you've just tuned in, thank you for joining us alongside me for this record-breaking day here at the Etihad Stadium as Manchester City take on Manchester United. Karen Bardsley Nedum Onuoha with me. We've already had some people get in touch on WhatsApp. Kofi Teddy has said Man City will win by 2-0. Love that. And Steve has said all the best, ladies. So if you want to get in touch, maybe just pass a comment or maybe put a question to our guests, you can do that. Just use that little WhatsApp number there that is on the bottom of the screen now. So we're taking on Manchester United. They are also warming up here on the Etihad pitch. So let's take a look at that starting 11. So in net we have Apes, then we have Battle, Blundell, Turner, Letitia, Toon, Zellum captains the side, Ladd, Galton, Paris, of course Russo as well, that name we know so well. As we look to the bench as well, we've got Bagley, we've got, apologies on the pronunciations here by the way, Thorsid Dottir, I think. Tunkara, Borisa, Moore, Stanisforth, El Garcia, Thomas and Williams.
At least you got the apology in early doors.
Yeah, it had to be done, didn't it? Yeah. Well, I mean,
Thorisdottir.
There we go.
Thorisdottir.
There we go.
Yeah.
I absolutely butchered it, didn't I? We started, Nedum, didn't we? Went straight away to our top scorer, Shaw. You obviously have to go look at Russo there because I think everyone has seen the damage that she can do and just how good a player she is.
Yeah, she's a very, very good player. But to be honest, for me, I'm looking forward to seeing how Ella Toon plays as well. I think if she plays well, then I think United are a better side within that. And I think recently I was actually doing a review show for the WSL, and in that one particular game, I think Hayley Ladd played particularly well. She moved the ball really well. She created a couple of chances. So I think these are people that you really do need to pay attention to, not just one.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of moments that I've seen where Hayley Ladd doesn't necessarily get the attention that she probably deserves. Because the thing is, and the same for Leah Galton, I think a lot of people kind of overlook her and her contributions, but a lot of it is that work rate, the consistency to go and press and win the ball high up the pitch, and just like the desire and the determination to kind of make something happen, that this team is full of it. So it's going to be one of those crazy, tetchy battles.
Yeah.
Just on a knife edge.
When I was doing some reading into it before, Manchester City have always come out on top in most recent derbies. Does this feel, though, particularly given as well the 3-point gap in the league, that this is probably the most competitive derby we've had?
I would say so, definitely. This would definitely be the most competitive Manchester derby I've seen. I think particularly with the form that both sides are going into, United have had a very, very good domestic campaign, only losing to the likes of Chelsea. And, we've seen them turn over Arsenal, who were flying at one point, and the goals are kind of coming from all over the pitch, which I think is equally dangerous because you don't really necessarily know how to nullify a particular threat, and you have to kind of be aware of anything, essentially. And now you've got the added element of that third Champions League spot, so there's an element of obviously the pressure to get that 3 points to climb up the table, but now, you've got the Champions League that everyone wants to be
there as well.
of.
That's it. And Nedum, we've been mentioning the crowd as well, but given how competitive it's going to be on the pitch, this is where the crowd in these games can make a difference.
Yeah, it certainly can. It certainly can. To be playing in front of tens of thousands of people that are there to support you and off-put the opposition, it's brilliant. As I look back, it's an incredible feeling to be roared on by people, you know what I mean? But also, to talk about the slight difference with this derby, I was asking United fans in their own section, well, no, they're kind of just in the crowd as well. And, for as much as it is a derby and it's very, very, very competitive, it's different. Because even like myself, like, I'll say this on air now, but within me, because I'm blue, red's not my favourite colour. But with this, I don't have that same sort of feeling as it stands with this United women's team. But I don't know if that's because it's not really been that competitive as such over the years.
Yes.
But this could pain me today, and if it does, I'll never forget it. So that's what I'm going to go with for now. But it is different. The derby's very, very competitive. To do with, the third place at this moment in time, to do with wanting to have bragging rights for this game, to be winning a match here, to be finishing above them in the league, and that is great. I just hope it stays as the competitive nature instead of some of the more toxic stuff we see on the other side.
Absolutely. This United team, what can we expect to see from them today on the pitch? From their season so far, how is it that they go about trying to win games?
Oh, I think, like most of the teams in this league now, they're going to want to start by dominating possession. So they'll build, through the thirds, play out from the goalkeeper. Obviously, like Mary Earps has had an incredible amount of experience across the league, but then also now at the international level. So she'll recognize the moments of when to go long, when to kind of look at going over the press, but also being able to play through it. So I think they're going to want to try and get the likes of Ella Toone on the ball. She's going to be the one that dictates the game in the midfield, and she'll be supported going forward by Katie Zellum. But they have a lot of great options out wide as well. I'm actually quite surprised that we're not seeing. Got the names confused. But Anya Battier is an excellent player, and so we see a lot of the play going through her down the flanks as well. So we'll be seeing a lot of crosses into the box, but then also the likes of some of these players, again, alluding to Katie Zellum, she'll be ready at the edge of the area for anything that's not cleared properly, and she's got one heck of a shot. She can hit the half volley, she can hit a driven one, she's not afraid to get involved with her head. So there are a lot of players in this United side that they've got a plethora of skill sets and talent. So the thing is essentially just stop the service.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think as well, I've just got read here about Katie Zellum as well. Assisted 5 goals from dead ball situations, which is the most in the league this season. So the guess then that's when he comes to go, all right, we don't want to be giving them any free kicks. We're keeping them dead ball situations. No. But that's when that gets mentioned then, is that kind of, is it drilled in during training, or is it just a word said to the players and they all have that awareness?
I think if you know another team's strengths, you never really try and play into them. I think there are times we need to be competitive, but then also, are you going to just hold your hands up and say, no, go past me because I don't want to give a free kick? They're also just as dangerous in general play. And to add to that, there's the refereeing element, because you might think something's not a foul, but if they give a foul, then what are you going to do?
Yes.
You can't say, well, this is all my fault, because you still believe that you were right. So I think as long as you know their strengths, then ultimately you can sort of get a sense of when you are playing into that and things you want to try and take away from them. Because every team will have free kicks, every team will have corners.
Yeah.
But you just have to make sure you're set up properly and know exactly what they want to do. Because for as much as every individual feels unique and teams feel unique, they do have tendencies and they do repeat themselves. And the moment you sort of sense it and isolate it, the easier it becomes to understand. And it's not to guarantee you can stop it, but at least you understand how it's going to be, as opposed to being surprised by it.
I mean, I can promise you that, from set pieces, they're probably going to try and in-swing it, right onto Ellie Roebuck. That's probably what they will have seen in terms of clearing the lines and things like that. And that's something that Ellie would have been working on, so there will have been a purpose to the training sessions. When we're working on set pieces in the past, you have a wide free kick and you just think, let's get it in quickly, let's get the wall set up. And then you kind of, as a coach, think, how can I manipulate the situation? We can throw in a clearance and what that looks like. Are we pressing the second balls? And, so you're adding in these kind of strategic elements into the session as well that kind of mimic what you're seeing on the pitch. So the thing is on the day, can you manage what's going on around you? Can you manage the moments? Can you manage the emotion? Can you manage the pressure? So you actually do essentially go back to the habit of what is the game plan? What is it that we're trying to do?
Yeah.
And those are the things I think you see it in the men's game, you see it in World Cups, these things get lost in everything else that's going on, So the people that can partition that and just focus on that tend to be the ones that are the most successful.
It's kind of that's like tunnel vision, isn't it? And I mean, can you coach that, Nedum, or is that something that's just in the player?
Do you know, I think for me, overall, that's the thing that comes with experience.
Okay,
and that's why you can't really put a price on it.
Yes.
There's some really, really good young talent, who get better as they get older, but they were still just as talented, but now they understand the game more. They understand how to compartmentalize certain things. They understand the input, like they understand the why, and once you understand the why, then it can become second nature. So again, as I say, some of that stuff comes with experience, and young players, they're very, very good, but they're still flawed because there's certain parts of the game which they don't understand yet.
And you can completely understand that because they've not been experienced to it yet.
Yes.
You know, like there's literally a situation where Mary Fowler may have never seen a situation in football before that we've all seen before. You know, and this is like literally her first time, so you can't blame someone that's not experienced something for getting it wrong.
And not know how to deal with it.
So it's like you take that into consideration based on who you're selecting. You know, like, okay, this could potentially happen. How do your teammates, how do your coach like address that? You know, so it's a weird dynamic that not many people actually do think about, but it plays a huge role in big moments like these.
Who were the players, both of you, when you were playing? Were there any of those, like, maybe, I guess, the senior players that, like, really kind of always brought that grounding, you know? I think it's like you say, I mean, Steph Houghton was case in point of that. She, you know, she was almost so, anytime, measured, calm, and you could always turn to her to go, all right, let's everyone just calm down for a second. Were there any other players in playing days for you?
From my perspective, there were some of the people who always led by example. So I'm talking like about Gareth Barry's, James Milner's and people like that, even though James is the same age as me. And you could see, like, whatever the occasion, they still had the same sort of pre-match build-up. They had the same warm-up. And when the game was going on, they weren't getting emotionally attached to the game itself. They were still just making sure that they did the job in the best way that they could. You know, whereas at times as a young player, you sense when it's like the bright lights and it's a big game and you're desperate to play well, but that desperation sort of tightens you up a little bit. But for them, they're free-flowing, they're doing things in the exact same way and they're having an impact. And it's great for you when you can get into that sort of zen state.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily get it straight away. And I think for some youngsters who say that they're in that zen state, they're kind of lying to themselves. You know what I mean? Because you know it's like, this is big, like, my family's in the stands over here, this is a big deal. But for some of those older ones, like, you see it, you step away from the game and you realise, like, who played well? It's the people that took it in their stride.
Yes.
They understand the moment, and at times they'll add a bit of nuance to it. But they approach it in a way because they know they're out there for a reason, and it's not just because it's a big game, it's because they know how to manage any game.
Yes.
So they go out there and they do it and they're exemplary.
But they also understand the things that make them successful and, you know, what it is that they need to do in order to execute those things. So, you know, rather than getting caught up on a bunch of stuff that you can't control, you're like, okay, as a fullback, like, I'm just going to focus on my first touch and, like, my tackle and maybe, you know, a few basic things. Or, you know, as a keeper, for me, it was always like, right, okay, how do I stay connected with my back four? Even if I'm not touching the ball, I still need to have a presence.
Yes.
You know? And elements like that. So for me, it was kind of like the Farrah Williams, you know, the Anita Santis, who were just really simple. Like, at doing their prep, they know exactly what they need to do. They don't get too high. I remember in 2015, I was like bouncing around in the changing room because I always needed like a bit of energy to get me going, right?
Yeah.
And then Farrah Williams like had a brew, and she's like, just go away. Not in a rude way. She's like, take your energy somewhere else. Like, I just need to chill here with my brew. And I was like, all right. Okay.
And as well, little things. So this is related to goalkeepers. The times in a game where you've been defending for like 4 or 5 minutes, you know, you're under a bit of pressure. Then goalkeeper catches the ball. They might see someone running forward for a quick counter, but the goalkeeper like, no, because we all need a break.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a level of understanding. In the moment, you might not understand why, but as you get older, you then understand like how angry you get when the goalkeeper then just gets up and tries to kick it long. You lose it, then you defend it again.
Straight up,
You know what I mean?
It took me a while to figure that one out, I'll be honest. I was like, yeah,
exactly.
And everyone
Exactly.
Like,
But,
no. And I'm like, sorry.
but like the moment the goalie can sort of have a sense of empathy towards the people who are out there doing what they're doing, like they manage the game. Like when you've got a goalkeeper that can manage a game, it sort of just follows on with the back four, follows on with the midfield.
Yes.
Because whenever it needs to like have a moment to just relax, they'll relax.
It's so important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you need to be more intense, you be more intense. But the fact is, there's somebody or several people out there who are reading the state of the game in any particular moment. And again, some of that comes with experience. But if you have experience in your team, you fancy yourself against absolutely anybody because you know how to manage those moments about the opposition.
And control the game as well, I guess, within that. Fascinating. Thank you, guys. We are now going to take a quick pause from talking about football because, as you can see, the stadium is filling up and we are set to have a record-breaking attendance here at the Etihad this Sunday afternoon, which is so exciting and a very special moment indeed. But we've had fans come in from all over. And Els, I think you've met some that have made quite the journey, haven't you?
So I'm here on the blue carpet. We're ready for the players to come out of the bus, and I'm joined by 4 amazing fans. You've travelled quite far to come to the Etihad today. Where have you come from?
India.
Wow, is it your first time at the Etihad?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And who are you looking forward to seeing the most? There's some incredible players on the squad. What are you looking forward to the most?
I think the entire squad, to be honest. It has been a bit of a journey for us. We've come all the way from Bangalore, India. And it's really nice. Manchester City's basically organised this trip for us, so really grateful. I'm looking forward to an awesome performance. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it's incredible to see how far the fans spread across the world from Man City. What is the fan base like out there? Do you watch the games together?
Yeah, we do. We all watch the games together. We screen it. We go to a local bar. But yeah, it's amazing watching with women.
Amazing. Well, we're here at the Etihad. The players are going to come very shortly. What is your score prediction for the game today?
I would love a 3-0, a hat-trick from one of our strikers. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for coming. Thanks for travelling so far, and I hope you have an amazing time at the Etihad. Thank you.
Massive thank you to Elves, and massive thank you for chatting to us there on Matchday Live.
What's this here? Where's this come from?
Listen, we'll get to that in a second, but just a quick women on those 4 women there. They won a brilliant community that is exclusively just for women, and it's run by women to promote sport and wellness within their community, and that is called Sisters in Sweat. So we want to say it's a massive, brilliant project that they're running. Great to have them at the Etihad Stadium. Now, we're wondering what this is. Well,
a little bit, yeah.
There's a little message here, and this might give us a little bit of an inkling of why we've got this out on the show.
Just wanted to wish everyone at Manchester City a massive good luck for the derby this weekend. It's going to be great for women's football in general, so if you can, get yourself down to the Etihad this Sunday and watch a great game of football. Unfortunately, I can't be there because I'm going to be in Qatar watching England men, which I'm very excited about. But City fans, I will be seeing you straight after Christmas, because I do appreciate all your support after the Euros and also when I was taken away to the jungle. So thanks everybody, and a massive good luck.
That is Jill Scott there, of course, Manchester City legend, women's footballing legend, and also now Queen of the Jungle. So massive congratulations to her, and we can't wait to have her back at the Etihad. Hopefully she'll come join us on the show as well. So in honour of Jill Scott, we thought we're going to bring a Bush Tucker trial to the studio, Nedum.
Did you hear something in there?
I don't know, as long as I don't have to eat it.
So here's how it's going to work. There's a few surprises in this box here.
I'm a bit nervous, I'm not going to lie.
Do we do a risk assessment?
Yeah, hold on a sec, yeah.
Tell you what, if there's any ITV producers watching, I tell you what,
no. Please turn it off. Please turn it off.
So what we're going to ask you to do is you have to reach in there inside the box. There's a little surprise, and there'll be a number on associated with what you pick out the box, which is then a question. We're going to go head to head.
Are you good with this, yeah?
Pardon?
You good with this, yeah?
Very good, yeah. Yes, was my idea.
Okay.
It would be. It would be.
Of course.
So you want me to go first, yeah?
Yes, please, Nedum.
All right.
Sweating?
He's played derbies.
So
Karen's played derbies, but this is where they're most nervous. It's all right.
Oh my God.
What is in this? Don't.
Uh-oh.
Oh, thank God for that.
What number's on there?
This is the number 5.
Okay, number 5.
Okay, cool. I was a bit concerned.
Okay. Yeah, you're
I was
right
like, this
there.
is East Manchester, anything goes.
Okay, question number 5 was this one, Nedum. Can you tell me how many women have become Queen of the Jungle?
Well, I can give you a number, but I have no idea. I'm not sure how many, but the only important one is Jill Scott. So
Great
sure that's
answer.
half a point.
Okay, yeah, but half a point. Let me just confirm. Do you want to give him? He gets half a point, and the correct answer is. There we go. 10. It's been 10 Queens of the Jungle, yeah. I think we forget how long I'm a Celebrity has been running for. It's been going for years.
Yeah.
I think early 2000s, isn't it? I don't know, maybe it is around that. Anyway, 10 Queens of the Jungle. Right, half a point for Nedum. The gallery have agreed, the producers have agreed. Okay,
I like the snake.
Okay, Karen, over to you now.
I hope they're all.
Listen. It's different now, huh?
You put your hand in there. I'm not sure what else. Oh, what is that?
It's a little lizard. A little lizard there. Was there a little number on
Number
there?
2.
Number 2, okay.
Oh.
How many Bush Tucker trials did Jill Scott participate in this series?
There were a lot. I remember the last one, and I remember the first one. How many were
See, she's not selling this.
No, okay,
She's not going to get half a point for this, by the way.
I think I'm going to go, I'm sure I saw like 8 of them, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Karen's saying it. Let's take a little look. See, Karen, right?
Oh! That's
so
hardly,
close.
that's worth more than half a point, right?
What, being wrong?
Should we keep it?
Right, fair enough. No, it's fine.
Oh,
That's
that
what we're
was
doing.
savage.
Let me throw a wrong one out.
Savage.
Did you not get your egg benedict this
I'm
morning?
taking an executive
not
decision.
yet.
You can have half a point. We'll keep it
Whoa,
interesting.
no.
You got half a point just for being nice.
No. But she wasn't nice. She was just wrong. She was just wrong.
It's okay, I'm sure I'll make
Karen's
it for
always nice.
That's true.
Come on. Okay, Nedum, here we go. In we go again.
Get your hand back in there.
Here we go.
Let's have a go. Ooh, that feels nice.
Ooh.
Oh, I like this.
Oh gosh. Oh no. I think that's number 1. It's on the ear. Is there a little dash on its ear?
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
that's number 1. Prepped.
This really was your idea, wasn't it?
Okay, Nedum, which other football professional won I'm a Celebrity in 2018?
So not a professional footballer, football professional.
How come you did the easy ones?
Well, you say easy ones, but
I know
don't.
this one.
I can't let them behind the curtain just yet. But I'm gonna say, is it Harry Redknapp?
Is it Harry Redknapp? Yes, it is.
So this is a very personal one to me. That he's an old manager of mine, and what I will say is that he rebranded himself very well in that thing. Let's just say that the nation's darling.
Really?
He rebranded himself very well, very well. But I'll take the point. Or do I not get a full point for that? Because I was 2 right. Was that 2 right?
Listen, if you carry on with that tone, you'll be losing points. Thank you very much.
Right?
So this is such a digressing point, but you know, like
Want to talk about it?
No, I don't actually. No, I don't.
Do you not think politics would be more engaging if all politicians just spoke with a rubber
rat?
Yeah, to be honest, I forgot how to rap, man.
I'll tell you what, he's really redeemed himself.
Oh dear.
Okay, over to you. Okay, that's a point for you there. Okay.
Easy point. You're not going to get this.
Need this.
Definitely
No,
not.
I feel like you got this like nailed.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. See.
Here we go.
Okay.
Loving this.
Oh, I hate spiders.
Oh, I don't like spiders. What number's the spider? Number 4, I think. I think that is. I don't know how we're not writing a number on there. We're saying 4.
You're just going to throw a question. This is where we're at.
KB, are you ready? Who has more appearances for Manchester City between Jill Scott, Karen Bardsley, and Nedum Onuoha?
Oh, it's definitely Jill.
You're saying Jill Scott?
It has to be.
Close.
It is indeed.
Oh, okay,
Close
good.
though. It's definitely not. It's not definitely Joe. Come on. It's not
There is.
definitely
I
Joe.
mean, okay, no, but do you want to do? Shall we do a little? I'm going to take an executive decision. I'm going to do a little bonus point here for Karen.
All
Here we
right,
go.
okay.
So Jill was right with 194, but can you tell me who had more between you and Nedum?
Are you looking?
And it is
Where are
tied.
you looking? Are you looking on Wikipedia? Are you looking on some other thing?
This is
now we're checking
this
the
is the
accuracy
research
of your
team.
numbers.
Yeah,
so
but is it
it's on the
like the A-team research team or is it like the intern research team?
You never know these days, do you?
All right, go
Not
on.
on this show.
Let's lead the way. Lead the way.
I'm gonna back myself here.
Go on, I'll say it then.
Yeah.
You're going to say you?
Yeah.
On down here, only literally by 14 appearances more. Nedum.
So what's it? So what have you got down there?
I've got 116 down here.
Ooh.
For
For
No,
you.
for you.
oh, okay.
And then 102 for KB.
Oh, you said you backed me that I had more.
No, I backed myself, but
Yeah.
I broke.
But you had more.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Is that you happy with that number?
I can live with that.
No, but is that right? We can verify
No,
it
that's
with
fine.
the man himself.
It's fine. It's fine. It's less than Joe. That's all that matters. Less than Joe.
Go on, Nedum. Here we
Right.
go.
Is there
level on
supposed to be
points
something else left in here, or
Yeah, is there not?
want to say that?
Is that it?
It's a raton. The rat is back.
Here we go. I've got the deciding question.
Well, there you go.
Sorry,
Yeah. I thought that might be the case.
got the deciding question. Can't get the staff, can you? Literally. Okay, this is the tiebreaker. What animal did Jill Scott have to face in her final trial?
Bing.
Go on then.
It's a rat.
Do you want to? You can throw an animal in there if you want.
Listen, I had it in my hand.
I didn't know what the,
If you check the footage, you'll see
criteria
I
was.
was shaking it. This was, yeah. But listen, if you want to take it, you take it.
Let's see who it was.
No, let's see if it was a rat.
It was me, the rats. Couldn't have done it.
Okay.
What would be your worst? This is just for me. now.
Worst.
Worst animal
Spider.
to face. Spider for you.
I can care less about spiders. I hate snakes.
Snakes, really?
I hate snakes.
Oh, that's funny. I don't mind them.
I hate snakes.
It's the tiny spiders that end up in your ears or something like that. Like, oh.
Yeah, I've seen a hot. Yeah. We'll move on from that one. There we are. That was our little very special Bush Tucker trial quiz. I'm going to bring you team news again in just a second. Quick question that's coming on WhatsApp, which I think is really, really interesting. Thanks, Roger, who says, "What do you think is the most effective way to overcome the pressure of so many people watching you? You know, like that's."
Ooh. Go on.
What I would say is that you only really notice the people watching you before the game starts itself. I think you need to realise that at some point you're just playing football, and it's something which you've done many times before, so the audience might change, but you're still playing against another 11. So I think, for me, the pressure sort of goes away as soon as the whistle goes, because then you get caught up in the emotions of that. It's very hard to sort of focus in on just the crowd when somebody's running at your full speed, doing step-overs and stuff like that.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, some people might get lost like that, but I think you try and win the game and you sort of celebrate the fact that you have fans there to watch you, because if something's going badly, they'll still support you, and if something's going well, it feels even better.
Yes.
They'll be right behind you. So I think for me, it's just remembering that it's still a game of football regardless of the crowd.
Yeah, and the occasion. What about for yourself, Karen, as well?
I always felt like it lifted me. You know, I always thought it was worse when there were fewer people there, because you could hear everything everyone was saying. They'd be like, wow, you're rubbish. You're like, I can hear you. Whereas this, it's just like a constant, like, I don't know, hum of noise, isn't it? So I always was really excited, and like it lifted me. I always felt like to play in front of a bigger crowd, but it is kind of off-putting, I think, for the first time when you don't really expect it. You're kind of like in awe of it, but you're absolutely right. As soon as the whistle blows, everything all just spills away.
Goes away.
Playing in front of, sorry to keep going on, but playing in front of a big crowd offers you some like real challenges which you'll celebrate, because there have been games where I've played in where I couldn't even speak to the person next to me because it was so loud.
True, yeah.
But that's a privilege as opposed to something you should want to complain about, because I wouldn't say, "Oh, guys, could you just calm down, please?" I'm trying to talk to my defensive partner here to say, "Oh, yeah, come on, let's get higher." It's like, no, this is it. This is the joy. It feels like a big game, and those big games are the ones I remember most throughout my career.
Yes.
It just feels special. When the crowd are right into it, it feels special. And I'm sure some of the games that you probably remember most fondly here from, say, when I was playing, they'll be my favourite games as well. That's the beauty of it.
That's magic in it, yeah, I love that. You can see there, these are our mascots today that are going to be walking out with our women's team, and these are all junior citizens. And you can always sign up and be a part of junior citizens as well. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I was a junior blue, but I was junior citizen, so do get involved. There's loads of brilliant stuff that happens when you sign up, and you never know, you might end up being a mascot in one of the games here at the Etihad, like those lucky girls down there. So we have not got long to go. Let me just quickly recap you our Manchester City starting 11 to take on Manchester United in this all-important derby in the WSL. This is huge implications on how the rest of the season is going to play out. 3-point split the two teams. And the starting 11 chosen by Gareth Taylor is Roebuck in net, then Kaspari, Alexandri, Greenwood, Uabi, Hasegawa, Castellanos, Coombs, Kelly, Shaw and Hemp. They are our starting 11. For those who might have just tuned in, Karen, what is it that you'd like to see from them 11 players on the pitch today, and how can we get these all-important 3 points?
I think the most important thing for me is just like the intent to come out on the front foot and just take the game to United. So obviously we all know that they're tactically and incredibly talented players and technically very, very good. But the thing is, I think, to not let the occasion, take over. So essentially just get the ball down, try and dominate possession, try to dominate the opponent. And I think that's as simple as it needs to be. It doesn't have to be anything flashy or fancy, but just get the ball down and play.
Yeah.
And kind of just work your way into it, build into it, go and win those physical battles and kind of earn the right, in a sense.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately it's just going to be an epic day.
Yeah.
It's just going to be so fun to watch.
It's really, really exciting. A quick word as well on this attendance, Nedum. I know we keep mentioning it, but it is such a big moment, an important moment, and just shows how quickly and fast and rightly so the women's game is now growing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think it's great to go and support your team as well, to support City, to go and support City, try and beat United.
Yes.
It's the blue is blue, and whenever you want to go and support, these games are on as well. It's not just the men's game that exists in this stadium. Go watch this women's team, because they're a very, very good side. They're going to be a great side to watch. They've got so many young talents within their team, and they're going to be very good for a long time, it feels like. And this is also, I'm getting really excited about this game, you know, and I hope that they absolutely smash them. How about that?
Yeah, I absolutely. Well, let's get your predictions. And do you know what? A quick word as well. You see, then it's actually the other side of it as well. KB is though when you see young girls like that, for it's role models, is it, and aspirations, and now to actually finally see, you know, that you know, maybe a hero of theirs is walking out on the Etihad, that can only do good things then for the next generation.
It's a really cool thing when you think about it. I mean, you see the fans filling in. You know, I think when we first played here in 2014, there were probably about 3,000 people.
Wow.
You know, and it just felt empty and felt weird, but still felt like we were making progress. But now, you think, yeah, like we're not far off. Like we need to keep fighting for that equity. And, you know, it's starting to kind of permeate in every single sense of like the community and everything like that. People are talking about the women's game; they're excited about it. You're seeing female pundits in the men's game. You're starting to see like initiatives kind of like creep into schools about getting more girls into football and more opportunities. And ultimately, like football is trying to catch up to where society needs it to be.
Absolutely.
And I think these are like big steps, so it's really cool.
Yeah,
it really is.
Sure. Every child can dream of playing at the Etihad.
Yeah.
You know, that's something which we haven't been able to say throughout the last 20 years that it's been here, but we can say that now.
Yeah.
The aspirations there, the dreams there. And this is why like representation and actually seeing it really does matter.
Yes.
Because you see it once, and maybe that's the thing that will inspire you for the next 10, 20 years.
Absolutely, yeah, you can't underestimate that. So brilliant. I'm pretty sure as well, don't quote me on this, I think I've seen so far this season across the WSL, attendances are up 200% as well.
Yes,
yeah,
saw that.
It is, right?
It's amazing.
It's incredible, isn't it? So you know what?
Switch
on. Hey, you can read, eh? You can read. Cal can read, guys. You can read. Here we go.
So Alistair Mann's got commentary, but before that, quick predictions from our guests in the studio. Karen Bardsley, I'm going to begin with you.
It's going to be tight today, but I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory to City.
Love that, Nedum.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Karen. I was thinking 2-1, but obviously she read my mind, just like with the quiz.
We're always on the same wavelength.
We're on the same page.
2-1 City.
2-1 City, love that. Massive thank you to Nedum Onuoha and Karen Bardsley. Thank you to you guys for watching. And thank you to everyone who's made it to the Etihad Stadium for this very special moment. Manchester City are taking on Manchester United in the derby. Let's hope we're going to be talking about 3 points at the end. We'll be back at half-time, then at full-time, and you can get full commentary from the legend that is Mr. Alistair Mann. Over to you, sir.
Well, a very warm welcome, if that's the right word, on a bitterly cold day in Manchester to what promises to be a momentous day in the history of Manchester City women. A crowd well in excess of 40,000. We'll get confirmation of exactly how many in a